walking in my purpose on purpose. I got the faith, I know I'm working. Protect my inner peace, I'm digging deep and really only scratching surface. It ain't perfected, but it's perfect. Look, could walk a mile inside these shoes, yeah, I'm just walking in my. Could walk a mile inside these shoes, yeah, I'm just walking in my. Could walk a mile.
Today with us on Stool Talk, we have a very special guest, man. Personal brother, like blood to me, man. Like I learned so much from this guy, man. Still learning from him. Put in work in the trenches with him. Had great conversations about life, man. Just to see us how we growing up, how we raising families, how we living life, man. I thought it would just be perfect to have him come sit down and talk about a conversation that much needed today. We have with us Mr. Brandon Foster. How you doing?
What's good, man? Man, listen, when you say the trenches, D-Dub, we talking about the trenches where we didn't know if we was gonna be able to come out of it, man. You already know you my brother to the end, man. You know that.
Yeah, man. Yes. So let's take it back a little bit. Quick preview. How did sports first start for you, and what age were you when you first started playing?
I'm gonna tell you, man. Sports started for me, man. Cold winter day. I was watching Dallas play against New York Giants in the playoffs, and this is when Emmitt Smith had hurt his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Went out the game and came right back in, and still was balling. You know what I'm saying? And it was once I seen that, man, and then I'm seeing Bo Jackson. I'm like, man, football is it, man. I love it, man. We outside. You know what I'm saying? We playing football all day long, man. And went from there, went from watching basketball, watching Michael Jordan, watching the Knicks play, every week. Because when we watch TV, it ain't how it is now. We only got one game or two games a week. That was it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I was glued to the TV watching it, and then after that we was outside playing. You know what I mean? So that's how sports resonated with me, man. I love sports. I love playing with my friends. I love being outside. I just love the whole aspect of, man, of just having friends, playing sports, being competitive, and at the end we still gonna be friends. And it's a beautiful thing, man. Sports, it really started my journey, man. It really did.
Yeah. So when you started to see that you started to excel in these sports, which was multiple sports, how was the transition with that when you seen that you were actually good and like, man, I could be good at this? How was the push even for your father as far as the training aspect, as far as the pushing you?
Well, when my dad really started to understand, my athleticism, man, he was there for me 100%, man. He sacrificed a lot of his time, effort, and money, you know what I mean, to get me where I needed to go. He started to see me excel in track, to where I was beating everybody, Then basketball came about, and I was playing. But D-Dub, real talk, my first sport was boxing. It was boxing before anything. I grew up with my dad watching boxing early. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching Oscar De La Hoya first fights. I'm watching Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker. My dad kept me around everything, man. And boxing was my first sport. Like real talk. I remember, man, calling my dad and telling him, like, look, man, I don't know if I want to box no more, man. I think I want to play basketball. You know what I'm saying? But once he seen me actually play, he was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna let him do him, man. And then once he seen me excel, is when he started to really push me and get me around the right people, to get better. The Chico Vaughns of the world, the Coach Carters of the world, the Coach Emery's of the world. He got me around people that got me better, man, and it was on from there.
Yeah. So, did your dad instill a selfless athlete into you? Because you were very selfless. You sacrificed a lot, and I seen a very transition. Even when we were in college, you transitioned over to defense, and I remember you was stopping practices. Practices was getting stopped because you were just dominating on the whole defensive line. Our offense couldn't move the ball. We couldn't move nothing. But you sacrificed and you end up transitioning to being a great defensive player, even though you could play offense because you had hands, you had speed. Like you could literally play both, but you transitioned and said, okay, y'all gonna put me on defense. I'm just gonna stay over here and I'm a dominator. Where did that aspect come in at?
I'm gonna tell you where it started, man, because it was a transition where we had our meetings after my sophomore year in college, and we was in there doing our interviews for the season with Coach D. And I told Coach D, I'm like, Coach D, I want to play D line. And he like, oh, you want to play defense? I'm like, oh, you're not even going to get a chance to play. I'm like, okay, put me over there. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what I'm capable of on defense, you know. And that was motivation for me, man. And then like you, D-Dub, we was on the sideline watching, and that ain't what we do. You know what I'm saying? We not for just sitting on the sideline, you know, watching and spectating. We was trying to do what we needed to do to get out on that field. And it took practice for the coach to understand we need to be on that field, you know. And I took it serious, man. And I you know, and I wanted to compete, and I knew I could compete. And you know, it was, and D-Dub, you know too, that sophomore year to that junior year, it was something about that leap, man, to where we truly got super focused, and we was trying to get on that field. You know, but we both knew that when we on that field, we can make magic happen, man. And that's what it took. And we grinded. D-Dub, we started really taking power clean serious. We working out super hard. You know, it's more of a it was fun for us because we seen the progress. We seen how faster we was getting, how bigger we was getting, how stronger we was getting, and at the same time, we was excelling in the classroom too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all came together, man, and it was just it worked. And you know, and like I said, D-Dub, me and you both know we wanted to be on that field, and I did whatever it took for me to get on there.
Yeah, and then because it's like now I'm seeing kids, even some mentees I may have had, they might be struggling in the sport, so they'll say, I don't want to play it. Or they might be good in something and think it's lame or think it's corny. Do you feel like social media played a big part into people like having a perspective of other people instead of going into being able to do what they can do and play, or whether it's play an instrument, whether it's excel in a sport or craft or something? Do you feel like the image changed with social media you know, came about really strong?
I'm gonna say it did to a certain extent. And the reason why is because I think kids think that, you know, you see all these kids on YouTube, IG, TikTok. You see these kids excelling, but they don't see the work that these kids are putting in. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's the part that, you know, a lot of these kids don't understand, you know. And, you know, I had a conversation with my son about it because he's seeing, you know, he said, I forget the name of the twins that was just drafted this past year. He's seeing, all these kids on Instagram, but I'm like, Bray, man, you got to understand, these kids are putting in extra work to get to that point. Nothing is given to none of them. You know what I mean? They all have to put that work in. And I think that's one thing that's being missed. A lot of things on IG and on social media ain't showing the hard work that these kids are putting in. That's what I think is missing. They need to like that needs to be more on like our threads to see, you know, these kids, you know, hitting heels in the weight room, on the court grinding. I think that's what's missing when it comes to, you know, showing these kids what the sports is all about.
Yeah, and a lot of people say parents push kids into sports for different reasons: health benefits, lifelong bonds, teamwork, leadership, improving social skills, and many more. When your son first started playing, did he want to play, or did you like, you know, say, "Hey, I think you should play this"? Did you like ushering me in, or did he want to play? How was that transition when he first started?
Well, he loved basketball. He loved basketball. He really didn't want nothing to do with football. I had to really push him that way into football because I knew if he got pushed, because Braylon got all he has the physical skill. He's a big kid. And I'm like, Bray, you know, this is something that you can excel in. And then too, it gives you an option, you know, because basketball is extremely hard to get a scholarship nowadays. It's difficult, you know. So, but the kicker part about it is like once he started to see what he was doing and him seizing all the opportunity that he was getting, he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. That I'm like, yeah. I'm like, because basketball is tough, D-Dub. We both know this. That basketball is extremely tough. It's hard to get a scholarship. Football is a little bit more simpler if you put the work in and you do what you're supposed to do. You do your job, and you'll possibly get a scholarship. It ain't guaranteed, but if you put the work in, something gonna come out of it, man.
Yeah. So did you like tell him about you playing sports? Did he hear about it? Did you know it? Did you use that as like, look, I did this, I did that to push him? Or did you was like, let me just make sure he stay in sports, being that you didn't want to push him away, being that you like, hey, I think you should do this. And he like, no, I don't want to do it. So how did you balance that? Or did you even use your accolades or the skill set that you had in multiple sports?
You know, D-Dub, man, when Bray was young, even all my kids, man, when they was younger, I was still playing sports. I was still in the flag football. I was still playing basketball, and they were around. You know, my wife had them around. You know, me out there. You know what I mean? And then too, Tavia at the time, she was playing volleyball on the side too. So it was like they were around sports young. You know, my oldest Braylon was around sports young. You know, he was around it. He was, you know, even when I was coaching, you know, at Larchmont, you know, years ago, Braylon was there with me, you know, on the sideline dribbling and messing around, you know, and it was me setting that example. That's what I think it is, D-Dub. I was setting an example for Braylon to start to love and really take sports serious. You know, he's seen his mom, you know, his mom, I'd say stuff about it to his mom, like your mom was more athletic than you probably ever will know. You know, you don't know because she stopped playing volleyball in college because she wanted to focus on her academics. But I'm like, your mom was an athlete, you know what I'm saying? She got records to this day in her school that won't nobody touch, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, your mom was the big deal, you know. I'm like, you need to pay more attention to her. I don't got the accolades because I was injured. I tore my ACL my junior year, you know what I'm saying? It was on from there, but I'm like, you know, Bray was just around sports early and he adapted to it. He started to love it, and that's just it went from there from him, man.
Yeah. So when he started seeing him take off, and when you start seeing it, what did you do to keep him humble and to keep him to where he just stay focused, or is he just that type of child that he's just humble and ain't no moment too big for him?
I kept him working out. I keep him working out, man. And I keep telling him, you know, it's always gonna be another kid that's gonna be working harder than you. It's just the way it is, you know. And I always, but you know what, D-Dub, I'm always I take time to be a father too. You know what I'm saying? I give him that chance to give me the conversation so I can talk to him, you know, as a son, you know. And it's a difficult balance, D-Dub. Don't get, it's very difficult, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's difficult because there's times where, you know, I'm in coach mode and I'm kind of too tough. But you know, sometimes I gotta let that go. Let my son be my son, and him sit here and open up to me and talk to me. That's the difficult balance is trying to figure out, you know, how to balance it out to where I can, you know, have him to where he's comfortable with talking to me, but at the same time push him in sports and academics to get him where he go. It's a fine line, but you know, like I said, I be a father to him, and then when he needs to get pushed, you know, as far as training wise, I push him, man.
Yeah. How do you think fathers should like handle that? Being that you said it's difficult, because what we're seeing is a lot of fathers just pushing their kids, or whether it's parents, because they were, you know, that thing in high school or they wasn't. So they trying to live through the child, and it's kind of messing them up to where the kids is shying away from the sport. What do you think that situation should look like?
D-Dub, we had our time. You know what I'm saying? We had our time. It's done with. It's over. We had our time. Whatever we made of it is what we made of it, you know. Now it's just giving our kids all the nuggets, all the knowledge that we have, you know. I look at it from my standpoint, man, with my father. He didn't have the resources that I had for my son, you know. It's different now, you know. It ain't how it used to be, you know. It was just your pure, you know, when I came up, it was your pure athleticism and your determination that was gonna get you there. Now it's different. Like you was talking about with social media. Social media is a big deal now, you know. I'm investing money in my son, but all my sons, you know, to where like if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, I'm gonna invest money in you, and I'm going to do what I can to get you where I need to go. It's an investment, D-Dub, because nowadays, man, college is expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's very expensive, man. And whatever they can do academically, athletically to get where they're gonna get, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get them there. Period.
Yeah. How do you balance being a father, being a husband, working, having a brand, and going to games, going to training? How do you balance that? And what do you do to keep your strength and keep your connection with God, and for you can be able to be the best that you can be? Because that's a lot.
D-Dub, it is a lot, man. I got to laugh on that one. It's a lot, man. I keep it real with you, man, because I have started my spiritual journey. Probably prior to COVID. I take time out every day. I got me a little devotional book to where I read, know, every day and take the nuggets and go with it, you know. And I relate that to my life every day, you know, daily. I'm relating it to my life. I dedicate time for my spiritual journey because at the end of the day, if it weren't for God, none of this would be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have none of this at my disposal. Period. You know.
Yeah.
And I gotta give him thanks whenever I get a chance. And then too, like, I got to make sure I'm there for my wife. I got to be there for her 100% and make sure she's good, whatever she needs, she's, I got her, and
Yeah.
also be that rock for the family to make sure that everything in the house is still moving, the way it's supposed to move. And
Hey,
then and then now it's now, with my boys, all three of them are different. They're not the same. So I can't treat none of them the same.
yeah.
So now I take time off of each one of my boys to where I got one-on-one time with them. Like my middle son, Zane, he's not into sports. So I'm like,
Okay.
you know what, Z? Me and you gonna work out. I'm gonna work out with you. It's just gonna be working out to where I'm gonna keep you together. I'm gonna teach you, boxing, just so that way you can keep yourself together. And it helps his confidence. But my
Yeah.
oldest and my youngest son, they're in the sport. So I got my time with both of them to where whether it's football or basketball or just working out, I got time for them. But I make sure I divide my time with my kids, man, just so that way they can get my individual attention too. It's a lot, but I manage it, D-Dub.
So that was your youngest son taking off in the flag football league. I seen
Yeah,
it.
that was him.
Yeah, he was getting over. I said, "Oh, he got another one."
He don't know how athletic he is, D-Dub, and that's the scary part, man. He does not understand that he's a big kid. But he's every day is adventure to him. You know what I'm saying? So he don't know how, he don't understand it. But I try to push him any way I can. He loves being pushed. He loves exercising, which is crazy. But yeah, man, it's a juggle, D-Dub, but I make it work, man.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job, man. I'm proud of you, man. Like
Appreciate
like
that.
your family, how you operating and how you just being a leader consistently. Like I've been seeing leadership skills in you being that even when we were at school, you would make sure stuff was taken care of down in Toledo, whether it's making sure your little brother and your sister is cool, your family. But then even like you saying with your family, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor. And you doing it the right way. You got a marriage, you got a family, and you just seeing how God is blessing you. Do you ever get any pushback, whether it's from family or friends, where the blessings that you got, you might talk about it, but they might treat you a little different just because of what God is doing and blessing you? Have you ever
Definitely,
experienced that?
definitely, D-Dub. And at the end of the day, man, our journey ain't everybody's invitation. You know what I'm saying?
Boy,
Everybody's not invited to come where we go. Whether that's my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, they're not invited. I got a family, I got kids, I have a wife, and we're trying to make this legacy go. That's where I am. Everybody's not invited. They can't come, and that's okay. I can still love them from afar.
yeah.
I still got love for them. Period. But if they're not with what I'm with, and they're not for, what I'm for, D-Dub, I'm moving forward, man. Me and my family going forward, period.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of the youth need to see, people's in families, married, seeing how it works, see people going to work, getting a 9 to 5, and not looking at the dope boy, not looking at the streets. Because, like me and we didn't play football and sports with a lot of people that could have went somewhere, but then they come back home and now they're doing different stuff. They got kids, and they might get themselves in situations where now they're getting locked up, or where now they're getting in trouble, and now their kids is just left there and they can't be able to be there like they want to because of choices. And now their kids don't even see my dad living like that, doing that. So now I can do it. Because some of these sports athletic kids I done seen in the mid city, I look on Facebook, all of them smoking weed, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, man, y'all got so much talent. If y'all couldn't go D1, you can go D2, 3, NAIA, whatever. And it's like turning towards the street. What do you feel like we need to do to reach the kids and to allow them to like, no, it's a different way out, man. You ain't gotta be the regular. You can be different.
And you're exactly right about that, D-Dub. A lot of these kids in the inner city, man, they come from unstable environments, man. And at the same token, too, D-Dub, I'm gonna keep it real with you. They don't got the programs that we had, man. And I think that's a big, huge thing. We had the funding. I don't know what it was, but we had the funding back in the day to where we did things that kept us occupied.
Yeah.
You had NYSP, you had the Boys and Girls Club. Or back in the day when we came up, D-Dub, we weren't into the corner boy stuff. We weren't into, doing weird and stuff that's gonna get us in trouble. D-Dub, we was trying to hoop. We were trying to hoop and play football. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the problem. I think that's I think now, and then these streets are dangerous too, D-Dub.
Yeah.
So honestly, man, it got to come from inside the home. You know, you got to have a stable environment, and I think the father's role is so important. I've been working at the Lucas County Jail going on 16 years, D-Dub, and man, to this day, D-Dub, I can't make this up to you. I have seen 3 generations go through the jail. 3. I've seen the son, I've seen somebody I grew up with, and I seen their father. And I seen them all in jail at one time. You know, so it gotta come from us as men and as fathers to be there for our kids and to put their time in our kids and to sacrifice. And on top of that, we can't do what everybody else do. We can't do it. You know, we got friends that want to, you know, be out here on the streets, be in the club. We got friends that still want to do that. But what does that lead you to? It don't lead you nowhere. What as a role for us as a father is for us to be home and to be a rock for our family and to see our kids thrive and our wives thrive. That's the role for the father. And I think that's one thing that's missing is the fathers being in the household and being there for the whole family.
Yeah, and even for the fathers that ain't, I feel like community can.
That too.
Everybody know it takes a village to raise a child, but
Yes.
now kids you really can't tell them nothing. But
Yeah.
you know, be there for somebody if you can, if it's possible, if it's fit. But a lot of this youth, they struggle with identity. Can you speak on that? What about identity can they do to know that there's something, there's someone they can do whatever they put their mind to? Speak on that, because a lot of them are struggling with identity and not knowing who they are, or just following, trying to keep up with the Joneses.
And honestly, D-Dub, it takes us to go back into the community and let them know that whatever they want to strive for is possible. I think that's a big thing. It takes us doing our community service. It takes us sitting down and talking to the youth, you know, and not even to the youth, even talking to the families, talking to the fathers, talking to the mothers, being there and actually telling them that whatever you shoot for is possible. It just takes work. It takes how can I say, it takes a belief to know that whatever they want to strive for, they can do it. But I think honestly, D-Dub, it takes like what you're doing right now. This is major, man. And I told you this in the beginning. This is major because you just don't understand how wide this is spanning. You know, how you know your words are hitting people in a different way that probably never hit before. They probably heard something, the same thing that you said from someone else, but it hit different from you because you're taking the time out to do this. And you're doing this on a broad scale now, D-Dub. I'm telling you, stuff like this, it really makes an impact.
Yeah, man, and your words of encouragement, and I could just remember you saying that in the beginning. That's why I stuck with it, because I've been was supposed to try to do something like this 2018, but just having different things going on, trials and tribulations, life pulling at you, it kind of like pull you down, but then you need to stay connected. So, Lord, just help me. I'm going to have the faith that I can be able to just do it and just see where it goes, you know, not to do it, try to have it like that, but I just want to touch somebody and just do the things that I can to be able to show that it's a difference and spotlight people like you, spotlight people that's, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna have Ken on, you know, spotlight the different people that show them like, man, you can do better. You can do this. Like, it's people out there that came from the same block as you, came from the same neighborhood, but they took a different route. They took a different path. And now we live in life, we successful, you know, and God is helping us along the journey because, you know, God got bigger plans for us that we don't even know yet. We just got to stay firm and stay grounded and connected to him. Do you guys got programs like at the facility for when they get out, whether they're youth or whether they're older people, that they can, you know, help, you know, rehabilitate them or get them structured when they come out? Or is it kind of when they come out, they going back to, you know, what they know?
Right now, man, Unison has been a big influence right now because you got to understand there's a lot of inmates that come down there with mental health issues. They've been connecting, you know, a lot of these inmates when they get out, getting them connected in the community with resources to help them out, to help them with their treatment, because that mental health is a big issue and a lot of people don't like to talk about it. But mental health is big, and it like I probably got mental health issues. You got mental health issues that we don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how it is, man. I think that's a big thing, and I think, you know, because I get that. Hey, D-Dub, I get therapy sometimes, man.
Yeah, therapy.
I had to talk to somebody. Yeah, literally, I like talk to somebody that I don't know just to get an insight on things that's happening in my life. You know what I mean? And try to get, handle it in a different angle, that I don't know. You know what I mean? So I think that's it. Unison has been doing a lot of big things in the jail and connecting people with community resource, even like, with housing or even with employment too. So big ups to Unison.
Yeah, man, and a lot of people need to take that effort to look themselves in the mirror and say, "Man, what do I need to work on?" Because it ain't all about what this person doing. What this you can look, and it's just like practice, working out, trying to be the best you want to do. If we want to be the best version of ourselves, we got to put the work in. We got to admit, okay, I need help in this. Okay, if you don't know, that's when your spirituality come in. That's when you, Lord, I need you. Help me. Or if you need help or you need somebody to talk to, therapy, because they're going to give you a different version that you might not think. A lot of people, therapy is calling a dude, calling a girl, calling their family members, and allowing they ratchetness to get on them, and now they just, going crazy doing stuff, man.
I'm telling you, man, it's a big deal, man. A lot of us need, sometimes you need to talk to somebody else and get another angle to help you, help you in life. We need it sometimes, man.
Yeah, man. So how is the brand going?
It's still going, man. I haven't done Man Up in a while. It's crazy. This is like the last episode. This is the first time I done it. So I got on here. I had to update Zoom. I'm like, geez, I got to update Zoom.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's been too long.
Yeah, because I used to check that out, man. Y'all were having great topics up there, and y'all were, doing a lot that was, well needed in there. And y'all still got the healthy life kick. Y'all got the other brand you and your wife got, correct?
Yeah. We hustling, D-Dub. we hustling, man. We trying to get this legacy going, man, and keep it going, for our kids, man. That's the whole goal, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, we thank you for stopping by, sharing a few words, a few knowledge, man, because like I said, you one of the ones that's doing it, man. You might not talk about it and all like that, but your light is showing. Where you fruit you laying and the fruit that you putting out, you can see it's good fruit, man. And it's helping because your kids being able to see you and know that you there and they're accelerate, man. And just like your oldest, man, he gonna be something else, man. Keep on working, keep on, being behind them, man.
Definitely, Andy Dub. I appreciate you doing this, man, and you actually spotlighting people, and you done talk to so many people, so many athletes, man. It's a beautiful thing, man, and you doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You really making an impact, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'll be in touch.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Peace.